Well, the Clemson Tigers, Dabo Swinney included, along with all of the players representing Clemson at ACC Media Days, were certainly asked about Brian Kelly and his comments today about quote unquote Death Valley Jr. As Brian Kelly liked to put it, taking shots at Clemson is just something that he has been doing ever since SEC Media Days a week or so ago. And he continues every time he gets in front of a microphone, every time he gets a chance to talk to the media, to take shots at our Clemson Tigers, to take shots at the real Death Valley, which is in Clemson, South Carolina. So, Jordan, your thoughts on Brian Kelly's continued, I guess, sound bites, if you will, about Clemson and the two stadiums being nicknamed Death Valley, and kind of the implications of this game.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting to say the least. It does kind of show kind of the difference in mentality with both programs and how they're going about this game. I mean I don't think Clemson has like the LSU's logo in their locker room, and then they've got
I guarantee you they do not.
LSU's. I mean, LSU also has a version of Tiger Rag, so I don't know if they're playing that. I don't think so. They're not doing all of that and treating this game as some sort of. I don't want to be one of those like Twitter people that's like Super Bowl, but it's kind of what it's been given. We're gonna find out when these two teams play kind of which approach is better, because LSU very much has circled this game, and I don't get me wrong, Clemson has too, but they've gone about it publicly differently. Clemson, it's just been about we're going to take care of business when we show up on August 30th. I mean, you heard it from TJ Parker today. He brushed it off, and he was like, we're not worried about all that. We're going to let our play do the talking. Didn't rebut anything. We're the real Death Valley. All of that doesn't matter, because when those two teams line it up, nicknames and all of that are not going to be what wins you the football game. So we're going to see which approach is the one that ends up winning out. I understand why LSU is doing it. I mean, hey, listen, if I've lost 5 straight season openers, I haven't won a season opener since we won a national championship. I would try to do something different too. I get it. I get it from that standpoint. It's just, you always think about that. Okay, am I giving this opponent bulletin board material? Am I stirring up something that I don't necessarily need to? I mean, I get he's trying to motivate his guys, but I mean, you can do that behind closed doors and not say things inflammatory to kind of stoke those flames. But listen, I'm not worried about it. I know who the real Death Valley is. It's the original, whatever you want to call it. That's all that matters to me. I'm sure LSU fans feel differently, but listen, I'm not going to be worried about that. I just want to win. I just want Clemson to win the football game. That's
absolutely. All this stuff is fun for us and fans to talk about in the off season. It makes great content. It makes great conversation. It makes great trash talk material between fan bases. But at the end of the day, none of this matters when it comes to kickoff and executing on the field and who's going to ultimately win the game come August 30th in Clemson, South Carolina, when Clemson faces off against LSU, right? But while we're on the subject, like I've said before, if anybody wants to research the name, the nickname, the moniker Death Valley that both Clemson and LSU use, it is very clear what stadium is the real Death Valley and what stadium is posing as Death Valley. And it's Clemson, South Carolina. And I know that pisses LSU fans off, and I know it makes them mad, but the facts are the facts. Clemson was monikered as Death Valley. Go ask the Presbyterian coach. Go look it up. The history is long before LSU was ever took on the nickname of Death Valley. Clemson was Death Valley long before that. Not to mention, we're actually in a valley. We're foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. They ain't never seen any mountains in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So that's another issue that they have with the whole valley moniker. And also, your stadium was named Death Valley before that, not Death Valley. So it's not my fault that LSU doesn't know the difference between death and deaf or how to spell each of them. But again, whatever. You're not in the mountains. You don't have any valleys. Your stadium is not the real Death Valley. It's a name that you stole because Death Valley is not nearly as cool as Death Valley. So I understand. I completely understand why you stole the name. But let's not pretend like Clemson Stadium was not nicknamed Death Valley long before your stadium. We'll leave that there. They can do their own research. They can spin it however they want. I can already hear the LSU fans now getting into the comments talking about, well, we play in the SEC and you play in the girls' conference in the ACC. I don't know what that has to do with stadium names or any of that stuff. But, whatever makes you feel better. Clemson's the real Death Valley, always has been, always will be, and it doesn't matter how mad it makes you. So,
Cook.
We'll just go ahead and leave that there. I don't think anything else needs to be said.
No, you covered it, man. I just have to sign off on it.
So shout out to Brian Kelly for the sound bites. We appreciate it. We really do. Just like last week when we were talking about Lane Kiffin, we appreciate those sound bites as well. Any sort of negative sound bites that we can get towards Clemson right now, they've had their fill of people talking good about them this offseason. So I love the kind of trash talk that we're getting from various SEC coaches at this point.
Yeah, man, I mean,
that Clemson matters.
Like Paul Feinbaum was on here talking about Clemson. He's Paul in. He said this on his show. He said, "I'm Paul in." Like I guess he did a segment. He's Paul in on Clemson being a national championship contender. So yeah, we need any sort of like negative.
Oh God! No.
We need some negative counterbalance, whatever you want to call it. Like
Paul says something good about Clemson.
Yeah, like that's the kind of energy I don't want around this program.
Yeah, that's the kind of I don't know. Maybe he's trying to like put some voodoo on us or something. But we don't need Paul saying anything good about Clemson. That's unacceptable. He needs to change his mind. So. Paul Feinbaum, if you're listening to this, you're probably not. But if it ever comes across, stop saying good things about Clemson. Okay, we don't need that.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. We don't want none of that. Okay.
Or you're gonna have to see me.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that at all. Okay. Just go back to praising whatever SEC team you were talking about before Clemson.